It sounds. That's how. Nobody can explain that. So something's. Yeah, we're going to try to figure it out and certainly stop it from happening.
Get wet in the rain. I mean, they got underground tunnel. They get everything catered to them,
right.
everything.
Yeah.
And they have the ability to make a lot of money. Why do these politicians go in as blue-collar people and come out as multimillionaires on a $200,000 salary?
Yeah.
And nobody asks these questions. It's obvious. They're getting paid for it.
Right.
They're putting these programs in. And, you know, I just pray people...
They're insider trading, right? But it's legal.
Absolutely. It's legal for them.
There's a kid.
It's legal for them. We go to jail for it.
This kid who's one of Trump's advisors, I won't say his name, but only just, God forbid, I shouldn't. But he's like, yeah, I've got this new company where you can invest your money and it automatically invests you in everything Nancy Pelosi's invested.
Exactly.
I was like, wait, this is legal? He's like, yeah, totally legal. I'm like, okay, sign me up. All of a sudden over 100 grand. Like,
she's the biggest thief. You know, and her father was a mob affiliate.
Shut up.
Absolutely, in
Shut
Baltimore.
up.
100%. And I don't say things out of school. 100%. The mob supported him. He became mayor of Baltimore. He had mob connections all along. 100%. This is fact. And she must have got it all in her head. Right. She watched her dad. She's like a mob boss, Nancy Pelosi. I mean, it's what they get away with is just terrible.
How do politicians that make around $200K a year have a net worth of $200 million? Turns out they get rich from exclusive insider information. And so I talked to a senator who wants to ban this practice altogether. Do you think the financial benefits of being in Congress attracts the wrong type of people to run for the wrong reasons?
A member of Congress could sit on the floor of the House voting on a bill that regulates some industry and have their E-Trade account up on their phone. Those of us who have all this access to confidential and classified information can trade stocks while we serve in office. It's a huge conflict of interest.
So how do you account for these loopholes, right? Because legislation gets passed all the time, people run around it.
No such thing as a perfect bill, but we can pass a law that bans members of Congress from trading stock.
But even with efforts from both parties, I'm not sure if congressional stock trading is ever going to be banned. I made a full video explaining why, so go watch that now.
Everybody knows who Jasmine Crockett is right about now. And, well, let's just say she's got the attention of Doge after all the crap she's been talking about Elon. Elon posted on X the other day, well, Jasmine, I see that you make $174,000 a year, but in the 18 months that you've been in the House of Representatives, you have purchased a $5 million house in Texas. You have a $2.5 million lake house and another house you bought for $1.5 million. So Elon and the United States government, along with so many more citizens, would love to know, Jasmine, how did you buy all that?
This is a topic that drives me insane and has done for decades, since when I became more conscious of the political corruption, and that was mainly in the end of my college years. Bill Clinton started to come in the office, and he was the governor of Arkansas. I went to Southern Arkansas University on a football scholarship, and even the people in Arkansas were stunned that he won. And he was making $25,000 a year, something like that, as a governor. And now he and his wife are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, how did that happen? How's Nancy Pelosi on $175,000 a year? And I would say the average of her salary over the last 30 years has maybe been like $125,000. How's she worth $250 million, $250 million? Well, because they're all corrupt. Our government is not even really a government. Our government is a crime syndicate. Look, we're on Friday right now. It's Friday. So the last 2 days, I believe stocks, doesn't matter if you're in the S&P or you're in the whatever fund you're in, we all lost about anywhere from 11 to 15% of your total net worth. Is that the machine's fault? Meaning, is that the government's fault? Yeah, it's the government's fault. Because Donald Trump is having to undo all of the corruption, all of the financial crimes associated with this criminal enterprise. I will say this, Dan Bongino mentioned this the other day prior to him leaving. The $36 trillion in debt is not because of overspending. I believe Doge is going to uncover and be able to show that the $36 trillion in debt that we're straddled with is actually just a theft. They stole $36 trillion and tacked it on to spending. Let me give you an example. So today they were reading some more Doge uncovering. And it was $22 million to some faraway country in Africa to do some kind of gender bending workplace study. And they said they don't know where the money is. But no one's asking for the money back. Well, are you going to go talk to the third world government of that African continent, Africa, and ask them, hey, where's it at? Well, they're gone. Are you telling me the government agency, the government agent, or whoever was the controller of those funds, are you telling me they didn't skim? Of course they did. Think about human nature, okay? Human nature, I give you $20 million, and I say to you, nobody knows where the money came from. You have to give it to some third world thugs that are just going to take it and steal it and never give it to their people. No water treatment plants and all that crap. It's just going to go. And you're just a normal person. And you're sitting there with $20 million. And you're like, no one even knows I have $20 million in my hand. The thugs just know I'm bringing them some money. They have no idea. Why can't I just go to the thugs and say, here's 17 million, it's an odd number. $17 million. That's what we decided. Divvy it up amongst you animals. Okay. And I just pocket $3 million. I take a side flight somewhere, some non-extradition, some non-American place, and I have a fake ID and I put $3 million in the bank. Don't think that this is like a bad Hollywood movie. This is reality. This is what's happening. Look, I showed a clip or two of insider trading. You don't get $175,000 a year salary and get $250 million on insider trading alone. You just don't. It doesn't happen. It's impossible. It doesn't math out. What does math out are bribes. What does math out is sending $300 billion to Ukraine and tens of millions of dollars come back to you, Nancy Pelosi. $20 million comes back to you, Chuck Schumer, Mitch McConnell, Ben Crenshaw. We don't know. Zelensky says, I have no idea where half of the money is. I never saw it. This goes right into what I just talked about. I'm delivering money to you, or it's done through electronic transfer. It's just the dollars are not real. The numbers are not real. They're making it out of thin air. But our government is so grotesquely corrupt that they don't even care about really hiding it. Could you imagine you run a business, a small business, or a medium size, instead of $20 million going to some fictitious place, your small business, you get $200,000 and you misplace it with no coding on the check, no on your electronic fund transfer, nothing in the item number, nothing describing what you paid for, and you just sent it out, and then it ends up back in your bank account. What happens to you? Well, that's a felony. It's theft. It's embezzlement. You go to jail. Have you noticed that nobody goes to jail? What is today? We're in almost, we're what, about, we're sitting at around 10 weeks now. I know that's not a long time, but it is a long time. Where are the arrests? Where are they? Don't tell me they don't have it laid out. Don't tell me that the Doge nerds can't go through and make the dots. Don't tell me that the guy that used to run Airbnb that's in there, or that giant venture capitalist that has found out where all the Social Security fraud is and all the illegal aliens that got Social Security numbers illegally and then used it to vote. Don't tell me those men, those genius men in business, meaning looking at, like, I can look at a spreadsheet. It's going to take me a while to figure it out, but I'll figure it out. But we're talking about guys that are like idiot savants. Like, maybe they can't figure out how to determine who's a criminal and how that criminal enterprise is going to work, like what way I did with narco smuggling and human smuggling. Yeah, I get that. Just like I don't, but they'd figure it out over time. Just like I'm going to look at a spreadsheet and I'm in profit and loss, and I'm going to be like, man, it's going to take me a long time to try to figure out. Whereas if you're telling me, hey, you know what, this criminal organization is doing X, Y, and Z, I can just kind of look at the layout and go, okay, yep, I know who they are, and they're going to come here, and we'll get them. All right, done. That's the same way these guys look at these spreadsheets, these profit and loss, and numbers actually pop up like beacons. Okay, that's wrong. That's wrong. Okay, where did that money go? Oh, okay. They transferred it from here to here to here to here and then ended up in this bank account. Why? Who is this person? And who is the person that initiated from the start and put no markings on that money? There's no way that they don't know who the players are. And why are they not being arrested? And then from a law enforcement perspective, let me tell you why this is important to begin to arrest people. Because you begin to arrest everyone that you could get indicted, knowing that they will begin to roll as fast as they are arrested. They will tell their attorney, plead me out as fast as you can get me out of here. Because they know instinctively that everyone else that is involved will begin to turn over and snitch on everyone, and you will be caught in that net. So I better make a confession now and implicate all these people and provide the evidence they need to prosecute, as long as you either get my sentence down to nothing or make it something I can digest. This is called Law Enforcement 101. It's the same thing during the 2020 elections when we saw those three individuals at Fulton County in Atlanta shoo everyone off and began to stuff the ballots and run them through the ballot counter. Why did the FBI special agent in charge in Atlanta go arrest them immediately and begin to separate them and then offer them all a plea? Why didn't he? Law Enforcement 101, and you don't do it? So as a guy that's been in law enforcement, I have to ask the question out loud. Why did you not do it? And then I have to begin to do a system of elimination of the whys. And then I have to come, one of my whys that I'm going to have to ask is, are you compromised? And we can see the world as it is, as Elon Musk is exposing through Doge and what Donald Trump is exposing, that our entire government, our entire system of government is compromised. It is corrupt. It is a den of thieves, and they are all together, all of them. I'll follow up with one last point. Donald Trump has signed, I don't know the exact number, but I would assume right now it's got to be over 300 executive orders. Why hasn't Speaker Johnson codified any of that into law? Why did he recess the Congress? We're in the middle of a war for America. and they're gone. They're not there. Whenever we don't need them there, they're there. Whenever we need them there, they're not there. Again, I'm going to ask a question, why? Why did Speaker Johnson say that he would never fund Ukraine war, never fund illegal immigration, the NGOs, never do a CR, never do all this? And then the moment he meets with Paul Ryan, the moment he goes down to the skiff, and the moment he comes out, he's a changed man. I have to make the assumption that someone got to him. Name me something real quick, something profound that a Republican outside of Trump has done in the last 20 years. Go. Go. Who are you going to name? Paul Ryan? Okay, what did he do? Oh, nothing. Jim Jordan? Nothing. Trey Gowdy, besides changing his freakish hairstyle every day, tell me something he did. Nothing. Boehner? Nothing. McCarthy? Nothing. Speaker Johnson? Nothing. It is maddening that we are in this position we are in as America. And I'm going to tell you that things are going to get worse economically, societally, culturally, foreign wars, internal fighting and battle, violence, crime. It's all going to get worse. Do I want this to happen? No, but I'm just looking at it from a very pragmatic perspective. It is all going to get worse, and I'm not blackpilling. I'm just being an intellectually honest person. Anyone that has half a brain could see that this is going to get worse because Donald Trump took over the doctor quit. Donald Trump's the new doctor, and he's looking at his patient, and we are in stage 4 cancer spread all across our body. And he's going to have to eradicate that cancer out of our body, and it is going to be painful. And we are going to suffer, and we are going to question why we're doing it. Can't I just end my life? That is America right now. If you do not feel it, if you do not see it, you are so willfully ignorant, stupid, or you're part of the problem. It's really that simple. One thing that I am glad that I am taking is for my immune system, for my gut and my health. I am on that 30-day Bella Grace elixir challenge. I'm not halfway through it, but I do feel the effects of it already, so I'm swearing by it. Just like Brandon House and his beautiful wife Melissa House swear by it, I understand now why they swear by it. Logan, if you can hear me, can we go ahead and play that commercial from Bella Grace, please?
With key ingredients supported by over 80 clinical trials, the exclusive formulation of the Bella Grace Elixir is changing lives everywhere. Ingesting collagen peptides alone is not very helpful. This is where most products fall short, and where Bella Grace changes everything. Unlike other products, the Bella Grace Elixir controls the gene switches which activate collagen creation and disables the enzymes that break down the matrix. Bella Grace Elixir contains Verisol, the world's best and most clinically studied form of collagen. These elite collagen peptides influence the skin's collagen metabolism directly from the inside. Nature's most powerful antioxidant. 6,000 times more potent than vitamin C, Astaryl astaxanthin prevents the activation of gene switches that drive inflammation and activates the gene switch responsible for cellular repair and longevity, forming bridges across cell membranes, protecting them from free radical attack. Amazonian cat's claw suppresses the enzymes that degrade collagen and our skin matrix caused by oxidants and inflammation. It simply turns the switch off. The world's most studied collagen, plus activating the genes that make collagen, plus switching off the genes that break down collagen. has resulted in something the world has never experienced. The Bella Grace Elixir. Start your 30-day Bella Grace challenge today.
I'm on that Bella Grace challenge. ShopBellaGrace.com/truth. ShopBellaGrace.com/truth. I'm swearing by it. I'm almost halfway through it. 30-day challenge. I'll let you know day by day. I'm going to bring in my first guest of the day, as I do every Friday. It is Chris from sat123.com. Come on in, Chris. There he is.
Good afternoon,
Chris, how you doing? Good, man. How are you
today? A
today?
little colder than last week.
Good, good. I'm glad my prayers were answered after I saw those beautiful palm trees and you sunning your face and your buns in the sun while we were freezing. So I'm good. I'm glad you got a lot of snow. Good for you.
Yeah, I got what was coming to me. Yeah.
Well, listen, every Friday you come on and we talk about being prepared, right? And my gosh, every week I think, well, what is going to happen this week? When I go to church on Sunday and say my prayers and I start my week on Monday, it's shocking how much change is happening, how much uncertainty, how much chaos, how much violence is happening in America. And I believe that we have to be prepared. And I asked you before we came on I want to really focus on, if we can just talk about the product of the sat phone. That's your bread and butter. And talk about the sat phones that you offer and the packages that come with them. Because I think this is, look, you can try to be as prepared as you want, but if you do not have ability to contact people, friends, family, or contact the law enforcement for some type of help, then everything else is kind of a moot point. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, no, absolutely, JJ. I mean, we've been selling sat phones for over 20 years now. And when we started, it was a smaller business. But what we've seen is just how effective these phones are at saving lives. You know, you never know when you're going to lose communications, right? We've seen over the last couple of years, especially in the last year, increasing attacks on our infrastructure, increasing outages, blanket outages nationwide of many of the big cell phone carriers, even stretching over to Europe and beyond. And what happens when the cell towers go down and your phone stops working is that you're very much on your own and in the dark. Now, if you need to call for assistance and you don't have a sat phone, you're in trouble. But satellite phones, JJ, work no matter what is going on the ground because they don't require cell towers. Satellite phones essentially have their own cell tower built in, little antenna you pull up, and as long as you can see the sky, you can make a call or receive a call to anywhere or from anywhere on Earth. JJ, only 7% of the world is actually covered by cell tower service. And that means that the rest of the world has zero service. And that includes the US as well. You know, anyone who's seen a TV ad recently will have seen all those little dots the cell phone providers show you as to how great their coverage is. But the reality is those dots are way bigger than the truth. Most of this country is not covered by cell service. So any long distance trucker will tell you this. Anyone who served our government like you have or in the US military understands the fact that most of the world does not have phone service. But satellite phones will work absolutely anywhere. When you see a major disaster, JJ, first responders roll in with sat phones on them already because they know they can't count on the terrestrial kind of cell phone networks or landlines or anything like that. They're usually gone. The reason is not necessarily because cell towers were taken out, although that does happen, but the power goes down, and that means the cell towers run on power, of course. And even if they have battery backups, they'll only last a day or two, if that. So having a sat phone means that you are always going to be connected. Now, these phones are very easy to use, JJ. They're like kind of early cell phones. They don't have any of the flashy screens and the web surfing or anything like that. They're designed for one reason only, and that's to enable you to stay in contact with whomever you want, no matter where you are or what's going on. And these phones, when they came out, they cost $5,000 to $10,000 or more People were paying 25, 30 bucks a minute. That has come way back down to the point where we at sat123.com actually give you a satellite phone for free with activation. And activation is something you're going to pay anywhere, but only at sat123.com can you get a free satellite phone. The value is $1,000 to $1,500 for that phone. You get it for free when you activate. And activation can be, our most popular plan is $95 a month. That gives you 150 minutes, JJ, and you can call absolutely anywhere on earth there. It's 1 minute, no matter where you're calling. You're calling London, Tokyo, or the other side of the country. 1 minute is 1 minute, very even. And if you don't use those minutes for $10 a month, you can even roll them over, so you won't lose them. But JJ, this is what has been keeping people alive and saving lives for the 20 years that we've been in business, mate.
Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for talking to us about that product, because I believe your company is excellent. I'm not a tech guy, even taking a phone out of my box and trying to set it up. What I love about your company is you go on your website to sat123.com is you have videos walking you through it. Like, okay, take it out of the box, hit this button. What is it good for? How do you use it? So it's not like, hey, here it is, now get lost. It's here it is. We're going to walk you through it. We're going to help you the best we can. So you do have a great website attached to your products. So I think that is a major plus.
Yeah, no, we really put a lot of effort into that, and we have live chat on there 24 hours a day. And this all goes into our, our belief that customer service doesn't end once you bought the phone, right? Look, if you're in a jam or you can't figure out how to use your phone and things are going wrong, the last thing you want to do is to call us and be put on hold, get voicemail. We don't have voicemail. We don't have one of those phone trees. We have to press 1, 2, 3. You call us 24 hours a day. We live answer the phone. We have US-based English-speaking customer service reps available around the clock. And they've all been with us a long time. They know all of our products, and they know how to get stuff fixed if there is a problem. So we're not just there for you when we sell you the phone. We're there for you for the duration of your contract, JJ. And, I'm sure not everyone is like that, but that's something that we go out of our way for, because we believe that a customer is, entitled to the absolute best support, regardless of how long they've been a customer.
Chris, thank you very much. I hope you get more snow, and I hope you have to deal with freezing weather. You just keep plugging because your vacation. Yeah.
Well, thanks for that. I just want to finish one last thing. As we talked about before, we have a new podcast, which is the Stone Podcast over on Rumble, and that's Satellite Phone Co. is the address. If you go over there and follow us and comment JJ sent you, we're going to enter you in to get free stuff. We're giving away Faraday bags, bulletproof backpacks, everything like that all week long. So just go over to Rumble, type in either the Escape Zone podcast, or just go to rumble.com/Satellite Phone Co. and click follow, comment JJ sent me, and you'll be in the running for some more free good stuff from us.
Oh, that's great. I'm going to be a guest on that podcast too. So we'll turn the tables and you just ask me questions and see if you can stump me. All right.
Looking forward to it, mate.
Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
You too. God bless, JJ. Cheers, mate.
God bless. I can listen to him all day with that great accent of his. And he's always cheerful, always up. Go to sat123.com, sat123.com/JJ, and go to Rumble. They have a new podcast, The Escape Zone. If you ever did Rumble, go right to their search engine, boom, Escape Zone, take you right to them. sat123.com/JJ. I love our partnerships. I love our sponsors. I love their products. They're actually nice people. When you talk to people, you talk to Jennifer, you talk to Tina at Sat123, you talk to Chris, they're all the same. Very helpful, very kind. Same thing with Pet Club 24/7. Same thing with Patriots Made and Kim Yater. It's amazing. And Bella Grace, obviously Bella Grace, I love them. I'm going to interview Dr. Lucky on Monday. I'm really excited about that. He's the gentleman in Bella Grace, and he's written all the books, and he's created all the products at Bella Grace. I'm really interested in what he has to tell me for health because I'm getting more driven to health. Maybe as I get older, I want to elongate my time because my son's young and I don't want to be a old dad. I want people to pick out someone else in the dad crowd and say, well, that guy looks like a grandpa. I don't want to be the old dude, and I don't want to leave my son years ahead of time before I should, right? I want to be there because I lost my father. Time goes by so fast. It was at least 7 years ago, and miss him every day. Would love to speak to him and tell him about, hey, this is what my new thing is, Dad. I'm doing a podcast, and talk to him, ask him questions about, well, how did you handle me when I was 13, when I was, give you in the morning 1 syllable grunt. How did you handle that, right? I would love to have 5 more minutes with my dad. So I don't want to leave my son or my wife sooner than I should. And that's about health, and that's about being prepared. I can show you videos over videos of people getting attacked in America. Violence is skyrocketing. So I need to both be internally healthy and strong, and externally by working out, boxing, do everything, defensive tactics, and be ready to roll when that bell rings. Because that bell will probably ring pretty soon, I think, in my life. So I need to knock on wood, but I want to be prepared all the time. And I lived in this world for 24 years where I knew when I went to work, better chance than not, I'm going to be in a physical altercation, a fight, something. That's exhilarating when you're young, but as you get older, you just rather not have that happen. And I'd rather not have that happen. But I'm going to be ready when the bell rings, because our world that we live in is in the strangest, and some would say the darkest time in recent memory. And I believe that's true. I believe mental illness is sweeping across America. It used to be you would see a video that was absurd and it would be such an anomaly, such a one-off, that it would attract incredible amounts of attention because it was so unique. It was so rare to see somebody so mentally disturbed, right? There's a train wreck, so you had to look at it. Now, you just swipe by it. There's so much of it. And I think you can talk about that with your food, the poisons in the food, poisons in the air, poisons in your water, poisons in our pharmaceuticals, poison in our entertainment. And I believe that our country is dark. And I believe it's getting dark because we've removed God from every vestige of our society. Let's look at some darkness. Okay? I hate that term, black pill. I've heard people say that to me. Oh, you black pill. And I say, well, no. Is it black pill if I'm just telling you what's actually happening and it's the truth? So maybe it's not the term black pill. Maybe it's you don't have the intellectual capacity or the social emotional ability to understand what's happening in your world. And you would just rather be dumb. And I think that's what it is. You don't like the fact that I'm pointing out something that is right on target. I did a vault right before I came on, and my take was, and I'm going to talk about this next week, and no one wants to talk about it. No one except a very small percentage of black commentators and historians. No one else. No white crazy Karens, no white politicians, no black politicians, no media at all. And that is the massive amounts of black on black crime, black on white violent crime, the enormous amounts of thuggery, the ransacking of convenience stores, malls, places of business across America by primarily young black men and women from teenage years to the mid-20s. Nobody wants to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it because I really don't care. I'm just going to talk about the truth. If it was roaming groups of white kids running around middle America, ransacking 7-Elevens, going into Target and destroying it, destroying Walmarts, I'd be the first one to say, hey, in the white community, we have a massive problem, and I'm going to do everything I can to eradicate that segment out of my group by helping the police. By when I start to see it go down, I'm gonna take it down. But no one says anything. And there's a lot of reasons why this is happening in America, a lot of reasons. But one is the absolute lack of a nuclear family in Black America. These are not my words. I'm trying to gather all of my sources now, and so that I can speak on it as intelligently as I can and cite my sources. And strangely enough, almost all of my sources, all of them, are from Black intellectuals, Black teachers, if you will, academic, Black businessmen, and Black social influencers. No one else will talk about it. So I'm listening to these men, and I'm listening to their statistics they're throwing out, and it's shocking. Like, it's shocking to hear it. And they're ringing the bell, and they're saying, somebody pay attention. Well, I'm going to pay attention, and we're going to talk about it next week. But we live in a violent time in America. And what is one of the driving forces behind the violence is mental illness, to be sure. I'm just going to show you what is considered not an anomaly anymore, but not an exception, but the rule. This is okayed. It's not even, it's worse than okayed, it's championed. Play this first one for me, Logan, please.
Happy Pride Month! Let's talk about my pronouns. So I use Z, them, zir pronouns. These are a singular pronoun, so you conjugate it the same way you would with he or she. So Z has green and purple hair. I like zir makeup. And I think that cool vest belongs to them. So that's how you use my pronouns. Let me know if you guys use neopronouns, because I think they're very cool, and I like hearing all the variations of them.
Them, they, whatever the hell that is. I have no... That's called multiple personality disorder. That's a mental disease. But don't think that mental patient is tucked away somewhere in Des Moines, Iowa, or Chicago, or somewhere in Nevada tucked away, and they're like a little elf hanging out in a closet. We have it in the halls of Congress. Play this one for me, Logan. But before you do, understand that this dude is a dude wearing a dress.
Republican leadership is throwing a temper tantrum. They just canceled votes for the rest of the week, shutting down the floor of the House of Representatives for the next several days, all in an effort to stop the House from allowing new parents in Congress to vote by proxy so they can spend time with their new babies or recover from childbirth. Over the last several months, there has been a bipartisan effort to allow new parents in Congress to spend time with their new babies and to vote by proxy. House Republican leadership has tried to stop this effort every step of the way. Today, they actually just lost a vote trying to prevent proxy voting from coming to the floor. And because they lost that vote, they're taking their ball and going home. They're canceling all of the votes moving forward this week. Now, granted, what they were putting on the floor for the rest of the week is not good stuff, so we should be grateful that the harm is reduced. But it's amazing that the Republican Party, which used to pride itself on being pro-family, is so anti-baby, so anti-family, so pro-forced birth, but not pro-supporting parents, that they would shut down the House of Representatives just to keep new parents, new moms, new dads from being able to spend time with their babies.
Okay. 10 years ago, if you were 10 years ago watching this clip, you would say, well, this is like a skit, right? This is like parody. You have a man that grew his hair out, shaves 2-3 times a day, acts like a woman, was voted in to be a congressman. And he claims to be a congresswoman and wants to use the women's bathroom because obviously he has a sexual fetish of wearing women's clothes. That's something that no one else wants to talk about either, right? We just want to act like this is normal. This is a sexual fetish for these very sexually perverse people, is they get off sexually dressing up as a woman. This is insanity. And as I'm watching that, it's shocking to me and infuriating to me and maddening to me that my life is directly impacted by a transgender freak that is wearing a dress, pretending to be a woman, making decisions that have a direct impact on my life. And you tell me that I'm blackpilling, or you tell me that I'm a little bit too hard on this topic. We live in insanity, people. We don't live in even the Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone is tame compared to this. It's not even Orwellian. He couldn't have come up with this. That's how far down the dark path we are. Let me show you another video. Please stop it at 58 seconds. I mean, because it's painful to watch. But I want you to see, but I want you to listen to what this lady says toward the end. Listen to what she says. These people are, this is why we're seeing violence accelerate in our society. We just saw a woman in New York yesterday or today, pro-lifer, just interviewing people in the streets in Bronx and interviewing another woman, a black woman. And she asked her 2 questions, and she gets upset about asking about abortion. So what does the lady do? That's twice the size of her. Is he punches her square in the face, like cuts her eyebrow open, blood everywhere, her hands all cut up. When did this become okay? When did it become okay just to beat the hell out of people whenever you just disagree, or shoot them or stab them? Honestly, can anyone answer that question without saying, well, you're wrong, JJ? Well, then tell me why I'm wrong. I think our nation has fallen into a moral cesspool. I think our nation is run by mental patients. Prove me wrong. Go ahead. You can't. Play this one just to prove my point, please, Logan.
Hey guys, Brittany here. I'm a mess. I'm not doing good at all today. I'm like really angry and splitting so much, and I'm just like, I want to go back to bed, but I have to work because there's some like money I need to make, and I have a horrible headache, and I just can't stop splitting. And if you're familiar with splitting, it's basically like getting angry at people and like not being able to control it and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know the exact definition of splitting, but I could tell I'm doing it right now. I also just realized I haven't taken my meds in like 2 days, so you know that could be contributing to this also. I'm just like, I literally don't know what to do.
We can start by taking the gigantic elephant tusk out of your nose. Hasn't taken her meds for 2 days. And that's the bigger point that I want to make, is the vast majority of these transgender people and these gender fluid furries and all this other insanity, they're mental patients that are not taking their meds or have not been diagnosed and given medication. Instead of giving them medication, they're applauded by medical professionals saying to them, no, you're okay. You are a cat. No, it's okay. Lop your breast off. Oh, but worse yet, let's castrate you. You're okay. No. We are all wrong. God is wrong. Let's correct God's mistakes and let's do it. The whole nation is off their medication. I'm not trying to make fun of that lady. That lady is obviously going through some extreme emotional trauma. No one, and I promise you, I'm not making light. I shouldn't have said something about the elephant tusk in her nose. However, does anybody look at her with the giant elephant tusk through her nose and say that that person is emotionally, mentally stable? Multiple piercings through her mouth. Her earlobes are popped open, split open. And I'm supposed to look at her and think that she's normal? Where the hell is she working? That's maybe the biggest thing. I want to do a timeout and say, can you tell me where you work? It's fascinating to me. Who hired you? Are you allowed to keep the elephant tusk in your nose? Are you allowed to have giant gapping holes in your earlobes? But the people on the left are sitting there clapping, saying, "Oh yeah, sister, you live your real life. You live your truth." Then on our side, our quote godly side, where are all the pastors and priests? Where are they? Don't talk about it. Where are the Republicans, politicians? Why do we don't have any mental hospitals anymore, insane asylums? Because we allowed the ACLU to shut them all down? Well, why do we allow a left-wing, psychotic, anti-American law organization run our country? Good question. I'm going to show you this last one. And I talked about this yesterday in my show, about me sitting there in the bathrooms when my son goes to the bathroom. I'm not standing right next to him, but I'm standing in the bathroom by the sink where I have complete view, and it makes some men uncomfortable. But the vast majority of them kind of look at me and nod like, I understand what you're doing here, Dad. Good job. I do the same thing. Just men talking to each other without saying words. And I talk to you because there's freaks, sexual perverts, pedophiles, and there's freaks like this guy I'm going to show you. And if you have a daughter and you allow this man to go inside of your daughter's, when she's going to the bathroom, then you're not a good dad. You're a horrible dad or a horrible mother. Go ahead and play this, please.
I was just in the women's room at a cheesecake factory, and when I walked in, there was this little girl, like 3 years old, tops. She was standing there alone, I assumed waiting for her parent, who was in the stall.
Hey, Logan.
And all the stalls were full, so like I couldn't go in, I just had to wait, and it was me and this little girl and no one else. And she kind of looked at me like, and, you know, I just like nodded my head and didn't look at her. I was like, you know, it's kind of awkward. And it occurred to me that when the parent, who I don't know, leaves the stall, exits their stall and sees me, a trans person, and their little 3-year-old daughter, that they might make an assumption based on untrue things that they've heard, an assumption that could be very dangerous for me, unsafe for me. So instead of waiting for that to potentially happen, I left the bathroom and decided I didn't need to pee that bad. Trans people go through this thought process any time they're in a bathroom, and it's not okay. And it's important to talk about because it happens all the time.
We had a tire case in which they were flooding us.
Then stay in your effing house. Just stay in your house. Dress up like the weirdos of yesteryear used to do. Yesteryear being about 6-7 years ago. You nut jobs would take your medicine or not take it and dress up and dance around with your dolls in the attic. Why don't you just stay in your attic? Why do you have to come out into the world and have us see the abomination, which is now you? You may not like how I speak. You may not like anything about me. But history's going to prove me correct. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not 10 years, maybe when I die. But history's going to prove that men like me that spoke like this were 100% correct. We were the people that were screaming in the wind into the wind of insanity. And the people that didn't say anything or said vile names about me being a bigot or whatever it is, that you were the problem. There's no way that I look at these videos, and let me tell you, they are not. I'm not scouring the internet for these videos. I'm actually sitting there going, holy cow, which ones do I choose out of the thousands? Like thousands. I'm not the problem. I'm not. This our sponsor, our third sponsor for the day is Pet Club 24/7. See, you got me all worked up with libs of TikTok and all this other insanity. Why I like Pet Club as well, the same way that I like Bella Grace, is because it's good for my immune system, it's good for my gut, it's good for my health. It's also good for my dog's health, my pets, horses, and humans, because it's a proprietary mushroom found in Japan, put it in dog treats, balms, creams, and in capsule form for humans. I take it. I love it. It makes a difference. Pet Club 24/7. Go to truthwithjj247.com, truthwithjj247.com. Here's a quick commercial to play with it. And I love this company.
There's nothing we wouldn't do for our pets. They're like our children. Our friends at Pet Club 24/7 have developed natural products that contain the most potent strain of a mushroom that's been used for thousands of years to help support the immune system. So visit their website today to discover how they're changing the way that pets and their parents are being treated for the better.
Truthwithjj247.com, Pet Club. Kurt and Kristen are the owners, and I swear by them, they are righteous, good, Christian, husband and wife team that run this company. Pet Club 24/7. My clock is ticking, man. I'm looking at it. So that's a good show, right? I got about 6.5, 7 minutes left. And I want to talk about tariffs. I want to end the show talking about tariffs because Donald Trump is being blasted that tariffs suck and tariffs are the worst thing and the economy's crashing. No. The economy's crashing because the people that have been in position of power for decades have destroyed the economy, put us on a path to complete destruction, and this man is the only one that's fighting to keep us there. Now, when we want to talk about hypocrisy is basically the Democrat Party. Because they're all saying that tariffs are the worst thing in the world. I'm going to run through a litany of the top Democrat leaders in their party telling you that tariffs are awesome. Go ahead, Logan, play the first one.
We had a tire case in which they were flooding us with cheap domestic tires or cheap Chinese tires. And we put a stop to it. And as a consequence, saved jobs.
Hey, Logan.
Throughout America. I have to say that Governor Romney criticized me for being too tough in that tire case. Said this wouldn't be good for American workers and that it would be protectionist. But I tell you, those workers don't feel that way. They feel as if they had finally an administration who was going to take this issue seriously.
There's Obama. Let's go to Pelosi. I mean, it's one after another. Let's just go. Go ahead, Pelosi.
How far does China have to go? How much more repression? How big a trade deficit and loss of jobs for the American worker? And how much more dangerous proliferation has to exist before members of this House of Representatives will say, I will not endorse the status quo? As I mentioned, it's about jobs, proliferation, and human rights. And there are those who say we shouldn't link human rights and trade and proliferation and trade. I disagree. But if we just want to take up this issue.
Go from that nut job. Let's go to another. Let's go to Bernie Sanders.
Further, what they have said is that we need to not worry about manufacturing in America because what we should establish is a policy of unfettered free trade. We don't need tariffs. What we need is to allow corporate America the freedom to throw American workers out on the street, people who are making 15, 20, 25 bucks an hour, health care, pensions, throw them out on the street because somehow, Madam President.
And we're off to Schumer.
Look, I think the president's doing the right thing. China has been taking advantage of us for two decades. They're stealing our intellectual property, which means stealing our good-paying jobs. And I, frankly, am closer on this issue, not on many, but on this issue with President Trump than I was with Presidents Bush or Obama, because they did nothing to tell China off. Now, China, of course, will respond. But if they know we're strong and we're not going to back off, they will back off. They have far more to lose than we do.
And we cannot end a hypocrisy train without bringing up the caboose, Joe Biden.
Next, a 100% tariff on
how much time do I have?
China. People say, wow. Because we're not going to let China flood our market, making it impossible for American auto manufacturers to compete fairly. We're also implementing a 25% tariff on electric vehicle batteries from China and a 25% tariff on critical minerals that make those batteries.
They are hypocrites. They are liars. And we have to support Trump. We have to go through this dark valley of absolute corruption to get out to the other side. There's no other way around it. Unless you want to go back and continue to go down this dark path of corruption and the wealthy getting more wealthy, the middle class dying, and then everyone that just becomes serfs. You want to do that? Then we should have stayed with Kamala Harris and just gone down there and died altogether, like on Jim Jones on an island. Or we just huddle together, circle our wagons, follow our leader, and get through this morass, get through this corruption, and get on the other end, and then we'll have prosperity. One way that you can support me is to go to my website, and I have all my links there. Everything's there, jjcarrell.com, jjcarrell.com. And finally, I made a decision yesterday is I'm going to start playing something uplifting, even in the darkness of darkness. And I want to play this clip. And I want you to listen to this young man. And I want you to listen to what the father says right at the end. It's 20 seconds. Go ahead, Logan, please.
You're doing great.
Dad, can I run every single day you run?
You want to run with me every day?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I get strong like you. I don't have those bumps yet. I saw no bumps.
No bumps? No bumps on your arms yet?
Nope.
You got to keep going every day, a little bit. I love you, bud.
His dad says, I love you, bud. And that is from the heart. And that is all we need to continue on in our daily lives in this fight for the soul of America. There are great people out there. Have a great weekend.